Welcome to the Ripple Podcast.
The podcast where we tell you stories about strange and unusual events and the ripples they create.
AKA the story after the story.
I'm Rosa.
And I'm Angela.
And this is the Ripple Podcast.
Get Ripple, the bright new drink that ring-a-ding flavor. Ripple.
River country, big river country, it's a hoot, it's a holler. That was your part right there. You're supposed to do that part.
I'm still on.
Louder. Keep singing. Hello.
Well, that was a quick little intro to
This is a double day. This is the second recording in one day.
We've never done a double deuce.
And this is our second drink for this recording.
And it's all about the happiest place on earth.
Wait, but our drink is not from the happiest place on earth.
It's from Starbucks, the second happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
The most expensive place on earth.
Well, so what do you think of it? I actually didn't get to hear.
Um.
Well, first, should we say what it is?
Okay, so it was created by Adam. So we'll
Yes.
call it a Adamocino.
It's a butter beer, which is not from Disney. It's from Universal.
Oh, no.
I know. We're off brand. But what do you think of it?
No, I'm not even talking about that. You know how I was just making notes on the back of a paper?
Yeah.
It may have been part of my
Oh,
story.
shit. You just tore up your paper.
Okay, keep talking. I'm going to print out page 1 again.
So I'm going to talk about our butter beer. And it's delicious. And if you want to order a butter beer, which is not Disney, it's from Universal, let me tell you what to get at Starbucks. You get a grande steamed milk with 3 pumps of caramel or caramel syrup, 3 pumps of cinnamon dolce, and 3 pumps of toffee nut syrup. Holy shit, that is a lot of sugar in one thing. And then you take it home and you pour yourself a couple shots of vodka in it. Pretty good stuff. Are you going to keep making me talk all by myself?
I'm coming. Okay, it's loading.
Oh,
I have to log back on again.
Wait, I'm just being told by Adam, who's visiting today.
Our guest.
That there's even more things in it that was not on my cup. More sugar? Okay, and you get it with whole milk. You can't skimp. You gotta get the butter in the butter beer. So you get the whole milk. You also add creme brulee topping and whipped cream.
That's like
It is
diabetes in a cup.
pretty much. It's pretty delicious. The reason we got butter beer from Starbucks today is because Adam and I and his family went to Universal to celebrate Christmas yesterday. Even though it was not on Christmas, it's a late Christmas celebration. And I have not been to Universal since I was like in junior high. And it was pretty amazing. And when we were researching our Disney stuff, I kept thinking about like, you see all the time like these soccer moms that are super, super into Disney, and it's kind of weird.
Whatever, I love Disney.
But there's people that are just like, it's freakishly into it. And I didn't understand. Like, I think I don't know. It's weird. But I didn't understand until yesterday when we went to Universal and we went to Springfield. And I wanted to live there forever because
See, it's been so long since I've been to Universal that I remember King Kong. I remember Backdraft.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Earthquake.
It's completely different. They still have the earthquake thing.
They do.
But they have a whole Springfield town, and they have Springfield Elementary, and a Krusty Burger, and a Quickie
and a
Mart,
Moe's.
and a Moe's Tavern.
That's
and,
so cool.
by the way, which I did not realize, the one thing that makes Universal so much better than Disney is
there's
that
alcohol everywhere.
there's alcohol everywhere, like at every corner.
So
and
California Adventure has alcohol, but not Disneyland.
But do they have like full-on bars? Like you can go get a friggin' old-fashioned and walk around the park with it?
I got micheladas.
Yeah, we got Mitch's a lot yesterday.
And when I was doing actually research for this story, I did find out that there is a place in Disneyland where you can get alcohol, but it's only Club 33.
Oh, well. So when you have an extra 10 grand
No.
to pay,
No.
what? Is it more than that?
It's more than that. I think it's like 10 grand a year maybe to keep your membership up.
That's insane.
But it was, oh gosh, I should have printed this out. It was something like $60,000 just to get your initial membership.
Well, and not everybody is allowed. Like, you have to put it in an application.
Which is like 900 people long.
There's a wait list, right?
Right, because they only allow a certain amount of people.
Yeah. It's
We went.
intense. Yeah, we did. And it was delicious.
It was, I regret now not like taking more pictures and stuff of what we got to see while we were there.
Okay, and now Assistant Adam again just pulled up some information for me. It is actually, wait, is that? Okay, so it's Club 33 cost $25,000 just to sign up.
Okay, I was
And
off.
then the members pay annual fees ranging from $10,000 to $15,000.
Thank you, Adam, for that information.
That is wild. What else does it get you other than like going to the club?
You can get like tours around the park.
You must,
Not a lot, I don't think. I think just to be able to
you have to get some sort of resort perks. There's gotta be. And then when you go to the club, it's not like the meal's comped, right? You still have to pay.
We paid.
Yeah. So you get the privilege of going to Club 33.
And remember, there's a dress code. So we had to change. We were in our Disneyland clothes, and then we had to change
into
to go to have dinner.
Which was kind of wild because we were the only ones there. So I don't know who we were dressing for. And then remember, we went in the old school elevator, like the kind with like the cagey
right,
type
they closed the door.
And then
they showed us like where Walt had like hidden microphones.
Yes, and like the taxidermied animals.
And they had, do you remember what you ate?
I remember we had mungfish.
Right. Oh, I thought it was monk.
Oh,
yeah.
It's probably monkfish.
Is it monkfish?
Because I think I'm thinking of mung fruit.
Oh.
I think it was
it's fish
called,
I'd never had before, but it was so good.
They called it the poor man's lobster because it tastes just like lobster.
It was delicious.
And it was like 5-course meal. It was
a 5-course meal. We had a fancy dessert. I remember they made us like,
it was your anniversary.
Right. So they made us a special like Mickey Minnie
anniversary chocolatey delicious thing.
Yeah, which was a surprise. We didn't know that they were doing that.
And then we went to the bar there.
I wish I would have like taken more like input on my surroundings.
Yeah, well, I do remember you took
we're never
pictures.
going back.
Oh no,
ever.
Hell no. But you took pictures of like everything we ate, but it was such a long time ago now.
Yeah.
It was a while.
Because I got it at the private school auction.
Yeah. That was a fun time.
We split it however many ways. 4, 5 ways.
Yeah.
Because it was Beth and Jimmy.
And Beth's sister.
Chanel and her husband. Me and Nick. You and Mom.
Yeah, that was it.
So they were 8. So we split the cost 4 ways to get, But we still had to pay to get into Disneyland.
Really? That wasn't included?
It was not included.
Wow.
It was pretty much just to walk through the doors of Club 33.
Yeah. Which I felt pretty cool about.
Oh, I totally. Going to that hidden door.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I look for it every time I go to Disneyland now.
Oh, I don't think I've been to Disneyland since that day. It was like 10 years ago. So, all right.
Okay, so let's talk some Disney.
Yeah, by the way, Disney's our theme for the night.
I'm so excited. It's ridiculous how excited I am about this.
First.
Am I first?
My story's kind of short. Yours is pretty long, I think.
Okay. So, my sources are bustle.com. Oh, I am so spelling this one because I don't even know how to say it, but it's Anastaso. Anastasia.
Sound it out.
Nope. Anasta. Can you read that one for
which
me?
one?
The second one. What's that say?
Oh, jeez.
Right?
Oh, when it's written like that, it's like all in one word. Okay. Anastasia. Oh, it's somebody's name. It's like their first. What's their middle name? Alicia?
No.
I don't know. It's a bunch of letters.
So we're going to edit that out. Satori.com, Hazlitt.net, and of course our favorite Wikipedia. So I kind of did a big spoiler, but I am doing The Little Mermaid and the Disney version versus the Hans Christian Andersen version. So remember like in high school when you had to do compare and contrast essays?
Yep.
That's pretty much what I'm doing on this.
Oh, so it's 2 different origin stories? Or is it...
Well, no, Disney got their story from the Hans Christian Andersen.
Oh, okay. So it's the Disney version versus the original.
Exactly.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
What was that? Oh, that's the other. Okay. So everyone knows, like, the Disney version. We kind of grew up watching it.
Under the Sea.
Came out in 1989.
Really?
Yeah, November 13th. So they were super smart right before, like, the Thanksgiving Christmas break. So all the kids would go to the movie theater and see it.
Smart.
But yeah, 1989. And it starts out with pretty much like a little concert under the sea. So it's one of the Disney
really
musicals.
It's been so long since I've watched it.
You need to get your Disney Plus going again.
I have Disney Plus, but I have Disney Plus for The Simpsons.
Oh,
That's why I got it.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. So it stars a young, and I didn't realize how young Ariel is supposed to be, but I figured it out. So it starts out that there's a bunch of mermaids singing, and they say, "We are the daughters of Triton, great father who loved us and named us well. Aquata, Adrena, Arista, Atina, Adela, Alana." And then there is the youngest in her musical debut, our 7th little sister. We're presenting her to you. I am not singing all of this. "To sing a song Sebastian wrote, her voice is like a bell. She's our sister, Ari," and then scene. So right there, it talks about all of the sisters and that Ariel is the youngest of those sisters. So she's about 15, maybe, in the movie. And she's that red-haired mermaid. She has an infatuation with all things human. And she hides her discovery of any human treasure she gets, like forks or pipes, in a sea cave.
She's a hoarder.
Total human hoarder. And she sings all these Disney songs about living among humans. Specifically, a prince named Eric that she sees on a ship. She instantly falls in love with the prince, as many Disney princesses do. And when the ship begins to sink, the Little Mermaid swims to save the prince and places him safely on the shore. He wakes up, but he can't remember anything about who saved him except for her beautiful voice. So there's an 1.5-hour movie in about 25 seconds.
Oh, really?
So,
that was the whole movie?
Well, that's...
well, before she gets her legs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the story goes on that King Triton, her dad, is super pissed that his youngest daughter is in love with a fish-eating human. She has friendly animal sidekicks, and they help Ariel stay out of trouble. There's more songs. There's a villain who's named Ursula. She's a huge octopus with a garden of sad-looking, like, plants, but they're actually, like, polyps. Like,
souls.
Well, they're lost souls, but they're stuck in her garden. They can't go anywhere. They're like...
What are those called?
Polyps.
Urchins. Are they urchins?
No, 'cause
polyps
urchins
are
can
what you
move.
have in your colon.
No, well, those don't move either. They attach themselves to the side.
Barnacles.
Barnacles.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks from the peanut gallery there. And they have those huge eyes, and they're all sad looking, but she keeps them as her pets. And so those are her lost souls of other mer people that have not paid their debt to the Sea Witch. And she sings a little song about them. What's that song? Quick, name it. The Sea Witch song. Poor
Unfortunate souls. Is that?
Yeah, you got it. In pain and need. This one longing to be thinner. That one wants to get the girl. And do I help them? Yes, indeed. So she talks about how she's, actually this good witch. She's just helping these people out to whatever desire that they may have. But if they don't pay their debt, then she gets to keep them in her little garden.
So if we had a modern human life version of her, she would be like an MLM salesperson.
Yeah. Do you want to be thinner? I can give you a potion for that.
Have you heard about Herbalife?
Do you want...
How about some Arbonne?
Or any oils? Do you have a
Do you need
headache?
some
Are
essential
you
oils?
stressed? Do you have anxiety? What oil can I mix
Let me
up for
sell you some crystals.
I'm so into crystals. Society.
Are you really?
Well, just because I think they're so pretty.
Oh.
Not because I think they're going to do anything for me. But I have probably like 8 of them now.
Do you?
They're so beautiful.
Where do you put them? Do you have a shrine?
No, just all over.
And do they give you positive energy and vibes?
Only when I put them in my water and drink from them.
And then it cleanses your aura?
No, I have to do that manually. So Ursula casts a spell so that Ariel can become a human because, she's in love with this prince human. But in exchange, she must give Ursula her voice as collateral. And all that she needs to do is convince Prince Eric that she is the girl that saved him from the shipwreck. Get him to fall in love with her, get married, and get a true kiss, or a kiss of true love. And this all needs to happen within 3 days.
No problem.
No big deal. If she fails, she becomes an addition to the Sea Witch's poor, unfortunate soul garden. So, next is a little bit of the Hans Christian Andersen version. So, they got this idea from his story, which was also called The Little Mermaid, which he wrote in 1836. And
how many years difference is that?
I
Real
can't
quick,
do that math. 1836 to 1989.
Probably like 372.
That sounds really good. Did you know that? Name another classic that Hans Christian Andersen wrote.
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Not you can't name one.
Well,
not even one.
No, I don't know.
What kind of education do you have? I couldn't name any either. But when I heard these, I was a little embarrassed. So he wrote like The Princess and the Pea, The Ugly Duckling, Thumbelina, The Snow Queen. Like the list.
What's a Snow Queen?
Well, I think that's like Frozen.
Oh, really?
But I'm totally making
so
that
Disney's
up.
Just like hijacking all of these?
Well, yeah, they did all of Rapunzel.
Oh, okay.
Disney did not write probably. Well, I'm gonna make a total percentage up, but like 80% of their movies.
Yeah, that I kind of believe, but it's interesting. I wonder how that works with like
copyrights.
Yeah, what's it called
royalties?
when you plagiarize?
Oh,
maybe you just buy the rights to them, or maybe they're so old. There's like a what's it called? You know what I mean. Anyway,
Finder's
I'm
fee?
gonna stop interrupting now.
So he was a pretty awesome author, but like super kind of twisted and dark. So in Hans Christian Andersen's version, he also had a strong female mermaid that lived with her widowed father, her grandma, and her 5 older sisters. She was the youngest.
Oh, but there was only 6 in that family.
Right, and there's a grandma.
Disney needed to add
Up
another.
it up a little bit, just to play with the song. They
Oh,
all had
okay.
the A names. So when each daughter turned 15, they were allowed to swim up to the surface once a year to watch the humans on the land. And then they'd come back
It's like
and tell the
Rumspringa.
stories to everyone. So Ariel, or actually she's not Ariel because she doesn't have a name, they just call her the Little Mermaid, has been hearing these stories from her older sisters for years, and she's just super infatuated with these land dwellers. And one thing that the sisters like to do on their free time when they're not going up to the surface was they'd go out and drown sailors.
Oh, fun. That's a good hobby to have.
Kind of like a siren,
Well,
They would sing and they'd tell the sailors they shouldn't be afraid to be underwater. It's fun down here. But every time they had to go up, or were going to go up to the surface, they had to suffer the pain of 8 oysters attaching themselves to their tails.
ouch.
And the grandma would just say, "Pride must suffer pain."
So those oysters are just there forever?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. When the Little Mermaid finally got her turn to go up,
And got her oysters?
her
earned
8
her oysters?
she sees the birthday celebration on a ship, just like Disney, and she sees a prince who she falls in love with. A storm happens, the boat sinks, she saves him, she talks with her grandma, and her grandma tells her that the only way to go up into the sky, because she's like obsessed with like this prince and being a human,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants to go to learn what the humans know, and the grandma says that the only way that she can do this is to marry a mortal human. So it's kind of questionable, did she really fall in love with this prince, or did she just fall in love with the idea of becoming a human?
So is the sea wench queen, whatever she was, is she in the original, or was that a entirely Disney?
Nope, she's in Anderson's version as well. So the grandma is saying, like, hey, if you want to go to heaven, you have to get a human to marry you, because once they fall in love with you, part of their soul is given to you. And then, because mermaids don't have souls.
Oh, so that's why they like to drown sailors for fun.
They just think it's a really good time. So the mermaid is super sad and depressed about her mermaid body, because she wants legs. She wants a life that she can have, including a soul. So she visits the sea witch to gain access to the prince and a soul. So a lot of that right there is very, very similar to the Disney version. So the Little Mermaid gets really depressed. She's like in a very dark place, and she asks her grandmother how long that humans live for, because apparently mermaids can live for 300 years. And she told the Little Mermaid that when a human dies, they go to heaven because they have the soul, like I already said. And then mermaids, instead, they just die and they turn into sea foam because they have no soul.
It's kind of gross.
So next time you go to the beach and you're like walking along the sand and you're stepping in the sea foam, just think you're walking on hundreds of dead mermaids.
Dead, soulless mermaids.
Yeah.
Don't walk in sea foam. That's gross. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to touch it.
It's pretty foamy sometimes. The Little Mermaid can only think about being with the prince. So she makes a visit to the sea witch, who is not an octopus in this version.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Knowing that the Little Mermaid can never return to the sea if she makes a deal with the sea witch, but she's totally okay with it. The sea witch gives her a potion that will turn her tail into legs, just like Disney, but in exchange, the sea witch cuts out her tongue. And the potion that she drinks causes her body to feel like a sword is cutting through it, slicing her tail into two pieces. The sea witch gave her the ability to be an amazing dancer since she couldn't talk. And that kind of goes into the play of, bless you.
Thank you.
When the sea witch is singing to Ariel about, like, Ariel's going like, oh, well, how am I going to tell the prince who I am? How am I going to communicate with him if I can't talk? And she goes like, oh, you'll have your looks, your pretty face, and don't forget the ability of body language. Do you remember that song at all?
Vaguely.
The men up there don't like a lot of chatter.
Wow. That's life with a
favorite
toddler. Or not a
movie.
toddler. She's not a toddler anymore.
So not. She's 6. She's a big girl. But also when the Little Mermaid dances or even just walks, it's going to feel like she's walking on sharp knives and her feet will bleed.
Just everywhere she goes. She's just going to leave.
Yeah, she's just going to walk, and it's like 1,000 little
bloody footprints all
knives.
over the place.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a very fair trade.
And not very attractive either. Like, if my feet are constantly bleeding while I'm hanging out with you, that's not a turn on.
I don't think we'd be friends.
Yuck. And she also is only going to get a soul if she gets the prince to fall in love with and marry her. She does, however, get a little bit more time than Ariel gets. She has until dawn on the first day after he marries someone else. But if she fails, she will instantly turn into sea foam. So, the Little Mermaid swims to the surface near the prince's palace. She drinks the potion. The prince finds her and instantly thinks she is the girl that saved him from drowning, but discovers he must be wrong because she can't speak. Both totally the same, right? Mm-hmm. Remember how Prince Eric finds Ariel washed up on the shore and he's like, it's you, and she's like, and she can't talk, and he's like, oh, sorry, I thought you were someone else. But he likes her a lot and he treats her like absolute crap. He allows her to sleep on the foot of his bed, like
with her feet hopefully hanging over the edge, because that's gross.
Catching in a little bucket. And he calls her his little foundling Do you know what that is? A foundling?
Something you found?
I looked it up because I didn't know. It's an orphaned infant that has to be cared for by others.
Oh, that's attractive.
That's not a nice name.
Adam, I'm going to start calling you a foundling, okay?
You're a little foundling. He says that he loves her as he would love a little child.
Oh, that's creepy.
Super creepy. Super creepy.
Why would you put that in a book?
They spend a bunch of time together, but his favorite thing to do is to watch her dance for him, even though it's super painful and her feet bleed.
And it's super messy.
And slippery, probably. Not very
Probably
safe.
a little dangerous.
So the prince's parents start getting on him for not being married, and they tell him he should marry this princess from a nearby kingdom.
Hey, go marry Bloodyfoot over there.
Oh, no, they don't want him to marry her.
Oh, okay.
No,
Gotcha.
they want him to marry this other chick.
Well, I don't blame them.
Yeah, Bloodyfoot's, yuck. So the prince is upset, and he confides with the Little Mermaid, telling her that he will not marry that other girl from the other kingdom because he doesn't love her, and he only loves the girl that rescued him. That he doesn't know what she looks like, and he's never talked with her,
And he
doesn't know anything
refers
about
to her as a small child.
But he doesn't know that's this Little Mermaid. He doesn't know that this one rescued him.
Okay.
It's just that imagination girl. So the girl from the nearby kingdom was sent to the prince's kingdom for an education. And when she meets the prince, he decides that this must be, in fact, the girl that rescued him. And he's like, oh, I totally will marry her. And in the Disney version, like Prince Eric, he like starts to fall for Ariel. Remember when they're on the boat and all the animals are singing "Kiss the Girl"?
Mm-hmm.
But then Ursula turns herself into like this hot brunette and uses Ariel's voice from the seashell and puts a curse on Eric that actually makes Eric fall in love with her. And then they plan the wedding. So the fake Ursula is going to marry Eric. So kind of similar.
I don't remember this movie at all, but you're telling a great story.
I should have made you watch it first. So in both versions, the Little Mermaid starts to freak out, and she's totally not sure what to do because the guy that she's literally given up her life for is going to marry someone else.
Well, he sounds like an asshole, to be honest.
He totally is. And in the Disney version, he's just kind of like a goof. Like, he's not really like one way or another, but at least he's not a dick. But in Anderson's version, the prince is getting married on this other ship. And the Little Mermaid watches, and she's actually told to dance at their wedding because she's an amazing dancer. She's super upset and realizing all she's given up and knowing that she will become sea foam at dawn. But just then, her sisters swim to the surface and hand her a magical knife. The sea witch actually traded them the knife in exchange for their long mermaid hair. And the sea witch said that if the Little Mermaid killed the prince and let his blood drip over her feet, she would turn back into a mermaid and she could return to the sea and her family. Can you please read my 6-year-old this story? Can you imagine?
Might.
So remember in the Disney version, I'm going to refresh your little memory here. Scuttle, like the seagull.
Yes.
He sees the sea witch's reflection in the mirror when she's the brunette.
And then he
he's like,
figure out?
Wait, that's not the pretty girl. It's actually the sea witch. And then he tells the crab and then the fish, and they all get Ariel to the ship. And all the sea animals come on the boat, and they break the spell. Ariel gets her voice back, but it's too late. She turns back into a mermaid. Ursula's like body spills out of that beautiful wedding dress, and she kidnaps Ariel, but they had a signed contract that couldn't be broken. And then remember her father, King Triton, says like, I'll take your place. You don't have to go and live in a sad little garden. I will do it. And Ursula's like, score, I'm gonna be the queen of the sea now. And takes King Triton's crown and Trident, that's gum.
That's what it's called.
A trident?
Adam confirmed.
Yes, it's called a trident.
Okay, and Trident. And makes
Not
herself like
dent, like dental.
Trident.
Trident.
Not the gum.
Okay.
And like makes herself like this huge giant sea witch. And all those like sunken boats rise to the surface. and Eric hops on one of the sunken boats and jabs this like wooden really
Rosa's getting
story.
really, really animated. And I should add that you're not even reading this off of a paper. She's full on just acting out the Little Mermaid with a lot of flailing hand motions.
I know, that one really hurt. But it's very, very dramatic part of the movie where he's like on this boat and there's like this wooden pokey thing and he just stabs her and she dies and everything goes back to more normal. And Dad's like, oh, you really do love this fish-eating human, don't you, little girl? So he decides to actually turn his daughter into a human.
Wait, he could do it all along?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He's the king of the sea.
Oh.
But in Anderson's version, the Little Mermaid, she has this magical knife now.
Okay.
But she can't kill the prince. She, like, creeps up on him while he's asleep. Who, by the way, he was in bed next to his new wife in, like, their wedding bed. Because that's not a creepy place to creep up. And she throws the knife over the side of the ship. And she jumps into the ocean behind it. Just as dawn was breaking. She prepares to turn into sea foam. But instead, she's rescued by, it's like, quote, daughters of the air. They're like spirits, I guess.
So like sky mermaids.
But they probably have wings.
Instead of fishtails?
Maybe. So, in order to get a soul, this is what they say she has to do. She just has to fly around the world for 300 years performing good deeds.
Well, that's nice.
You know, because, like, not killing the prince wasn't a good enough of a deed. And she might earn a soul. So, and what people have said that have analyzed the story is that's like Anderson's version of purgatory. So she has to wait for 300 years trying to do something good to see if she actually is good enough to get into heaven.
So she's doing good things throughout these 300 years, or she's flying around for 300 years waiting for the best, goodest of deeds?
Both. She's flying around waiting, but she's doing good deeds the whole time.
Oh, okay.
So that's the end. There's my Disney, and there's my Anderson's version of, like, my favorite Disney movie ever.
Wow.
Now here's my ripple.
Okay.
So there's this guy, and his name was Harris Glenn Milstead, and he was born in Baltimore, Maryland, to a conservative middle-class family. He became interested in drag while he was working as a hairdresser. So drag meaning dressing in drag, not like drag car racing. He started using the name Divine as his drag name. And one of his close friends named John Waters, who is a pretty famous independent filmmaker, gave him the tagline of the most beautiful woman in the world, almost. I thought that was so good. I loved it.
Oh, that's funny.
So he acted in a bunch of films and on stage. He actually starred in Waters' film Pink Flamingos, which was in 1972, which is a cult favorite. And this movie helped him rise to fame.
She?
No, it's a him.
But he goes, even in drag?
He's still a him.
He still calls it. Oh, that's interesting.
I wanted to make sure that I was sensitive to that. Yeah, he refers to himself as he. Do you remember the movie Hairspray?
Yes.
With like John Travolta and Vicky
I don't think
Lake.
I ever watched the movie, but I know the story.
Okay, so he actually played the part that John Travolta played on stage. Mm-hmm. The Edna Turnblad. It's such a funny movie. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's really, really cute. After that, he did some recording kind of in the disco era. And he had some international chart success with his songs You Think You're a Man, I'm So Beautiful, and Walk Like a Man, all of which he performed in drag.
Okay.
Divine described his stage performances as just good, dirty fun. And if you find it offensive, honey, don't join in. As part of his performance, he consistently swore at the audience, often using his signature line of, "Fuck you very much."
Oh, I know who this is.
And then People magazine called him the drag queen of the century. So why am I talking about
Yeah, I
like
was
a
just
drag
gonna ask.
queen
What
from
does
a
this have
Disney
to do
movie?
with
So I
Ariel?
actually have more visual for you. So here is the picture of Ursula,
Okay.
which is my very favorite Disney character of all time.
This is just the cartoon printout version.
Her purple body,
Plunging neckline.
big boobies.
Marilyn Monroe beauty mark.
So here is a picture, some pictures of Divine.
Oh, wow.
So she was the Ursula, the sea witch, was actually designed off of Divine.
No way.
So Baltimore-based drag queen, actress, and singer was the inspiration for early sketches of the iconic Disney villain Ursula.
Wow. I totally thought you were going to tell me that this was the performance of like a Broadway Little Mermaid.
Nope.
It's the other way around.
So unfortunately on March 7th, 1988, he died in his sleep at age 42 of an enlarged heart.
Oh.
His body was discovered by his agent, who then sat with the body for the next 6 hours alongside 3 of Divine's other friends. And they did that because they didn't want the press taking any photographs of the body as they were carrying it out of the hotel.
Oh, okay.
So people that knew Divine just had a serious love for him. Like, he was a kind person. His agent, like, wasn't in it for just the money, for the bookings and whatnot. He actually was a friend. So Bernard J., who is his agent, wrote a book titled Not Simply Divine, which was published in 1992. In that book, he talks about how proud of Divine he was and how much he supported the cause that he was working towards. And a quote from him said he expressed his hope that the book shines light on the shades of gray between the man and his female persona, portraying a warts and all picture. So Divine's mom actually didn't really like the book, and she called it mean-spirited. And her name is Frances Milstead, and she co-wrote her own book about Divine entitled My Son Divine in 2001. She was in a film called Frances, A Mother Divine in 2010. In 2011, she helped with the publication of Postcards from Divine, which was a book that was composed of over 50 postcards Divine had sent to his parents while traveling the world between 1977 and 87. So she has a super strong relationship with the gay community, and she's an advocate for them. There is a 12-foot tall statue by artist Andrew Logan, and it can be seen on permanent display at the American Visionary Art Museum.
Whoa.
In Divine's hometown of Baltimore. And the movie or documentary I Am Divine, it's about the life of Divine. It was premiered at the 2013 South by Southwest Film Festival. In August of 2015, a play based on the final day of Divine's life called Divine Intervention, and it was performed at the New York Fringe Festival. So he actually passed away in 1988, and the latest one I have here is on 2015, but he is still such a huge figure for the LGBT community. And he's an inspiration to, even today, for fictional characters, for artworks, for songs. And it's just pretty cool that I think that one person has made such an impact with the decisions that they did. I mean, he found his love of dressing in drag and just made it himself. And because he was, acting like himself, but as someone else, and he just had this huge reaction
presence
from people.
Okay.
Yeah. And
yeah.
He died at such a young age, but there's just still people following him. Our friend Chad, who's the artist.
Yeah.
He's actually done pictures of Divine.
Oh, wow.
And it's just, I don't know. I was really inspired that even Disney took this person and created a character. So unfortunately, he never got to see that Disney.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Okay. And I imagine he would have to be compensated for his image being portrayed in that way. Did you find any information about that?
I don't know, because I think it was just based on.
But if they came out publicly and said that that's who they based it on, you would think that there would be some sort of compensation.
Probably, especially with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find any of that, but.
Wow, that's crazy.
A fun little ripple.
Yeah, that's interesting.
One.
That was totally a direction I did not expect you to go, but that was very cool.
I zigged, then I zagged.
Yep.
So that was my Little Mermaid Disney versus Hans Christian Andersen.
What a horrifying story.
But it's my favorite.
I'm going to say the Disney version is a little bit better on that end.
A little bit happier.
Less
least.
Blood involved.
Yuck.
Okay. Do we need to take a break? Or are you
Let's
ready
keep
to
going.
go? All right.
I'm drinking my drink.
Okay.
I'm good.
So I had an issue with my notes. Somehow they didn't make it here to the podcast studio somehow. So I'm going to try to wing it, and I have some facts written down so that I have the necessary details for this one. I went an entirely different direction. Mine is not on a Disney film or story. Mine instead is about a Disney theme park, which you may not have ever heard of.
I know everything about Disney.
Dun, dun, dun. Do you know about River Country? Have you ever heard of River Country?
Okay, so there was Bear Country.
Okay.
Which was a ride at Disneyland, which is now like in Tomorrowland area.
That means nothing to me. But I'm going to tell you that this River Country is not involved with the Disneyland at all, and it's on the other side of the country in Florida.
Oh, then I have no clue.
All right.
I said I know everything there is to know about Disneyland.
Oh, yeah, this is not a part of Disneyland. This was actually a part of Disney's Fort Wilderness.
Nope.
Never heard of it? Okay. So, this park, the River Country, was the very first theme water park.
Fun!
Yeah, really fun. Let me tell you just how fun it was. All right, so River Country opened June 20th, 1976, and it was on Florida's Bay Lake, right on the shore of this great big recreational lake, and they actually used water from the lake and filtered it and pumped it into the water park, and it kind of gave it this feel that you were like in an old watering hole, swimming hole, that's the word I'm looking for.
Swimming hole.
Yeah, like
cement ponds.
Like Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. That was like the kind of theme that they were going for, the vibe, like, you know, the old days where we're just swimming in the creek.
Got it.
And so, okay, obviously I've watched videos on this, and that's how I have this horrible theme song stuck in my head for the last 4 days.
Country.
But if you look at like the initial commercials that they put out and just pictures from when the park was still active, the water itself is like green because
it's lake
it's
water
from the lake.
Sure.
Yeah. And they actually had one of the rides, I guess you would call it, or features they had was Bay Cove, which was a half-acre sand bottom lake. So it's still like, it wasn't even a what are pools made of? Cement? Concrete? I don't know. It was actually sand on the bottom.
Okay.
So you felt like you're out in sticks, I guess. And the park also featured a kiddie zone, which had 2 water slides, and those water slides, I believe, were the Hoop and Holler. And
Hoop and Holler?
Yeah. And actually it looks pretty crazy because so you go down this water slide and then there's a tube and then there's just like a drop off. So it's like a free fall and you're just falling into the water.
Are you in a raft?
On this one, no. You're just like sliding down.
So like Hurricane Harbor style.
Yeah. Well, and they also had other ones that you were in like a little inner tube sliding around, and
Those
they
are
had
like my favorite rides.
Like the Lazy River.
Yeah. No.
Or
no, like Splash Mountain when you're in like the log.
Oh.
Or yeah, when you're in like the big round like inner tubey thing with a bunch of people. I love those water rides.
Those are a lot of fun. You might think differently about that after I tell
You're
you more
gonna
about
ruin
River
my life
Country
right now.
Okay, so River Country was open only during the summertime, just like a lot of water parks. When it was warm out, obviously you're not going to be out there in the winter, and then it would close, and then it would reopen year after year. Well, January 20th, 2005, it just didn't open.
Wait, when did it first open?
I was back in 1976.
Okay, and it was open I've never even...
Yeah, it was around for a long time.
Okay.
It actually, like, one of the downsides of it is it didn't hold very many people. They had a capacity at around, like, 5,000 people, and then they had to close the doors. So that's not very many, like, especially for a Disney park.
Okay.
So...
Did you know that Disneyland was at capacity just a couple days ago?
I've heard that it's been at capacity a few times.
Yeah, they weren't taking any more people.
How many people does Disneyland hold?
So many. That's the
that's
exact number.
Lot. That's a lot.
The exact number.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I didn't give my sources. So this is Wikipedia, a YouTube channel called Expedition Theme Parks.
Oh my gosh, I went down the biggest wormhole watching YouTube Disney darkness.
Yes. And then the last one is Outbreak News.
Monkey?
And we'll get to that.
Oh.
So, yeah, 2001, it just did not... Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say 2005 before?
You did?
2001, November 2nd, 2001, it just didn't open. And they didn't announce, Disney did not announce until 2005 that the park was going to remain permanently closed.
Okay, so 4 years.
Yeah, which brought a lot of speculation across the internet about why was this park closed. It was so weird, and people started doing investigations to try to figure it out. And there's some theories here and there. It's like, okay, well, November 2nd, 2001, that's shortly after 9/11. Maybe there wasn't enough people traveling and they just couldn't get it filled. There was a few other speculations, and let me tell you about those. So there were several deaths at River Country. Several. Some of which were drownings. I believe there was 3 drownings. And on the internet, people were talking to lifeguards at River Country and like trying to figure out, okay, there was lifeguard stations all over the place. Why were there drownings? Well, some of the lifeguards reported like, well, the water is dingy. Like it is lake water. And so if somebody goes under, especially after going like down a slide or something and the slide's empty into like an actual swimming pool where other people are swimming,
you don't see them.
You don't see. If they don't resurface, you're not going to just see through clear water and see anybody. So I couldn't find the specifics on a lot of the information about the deaths because they were kids a lot of the time. And they're not going to report,
right.
Kids' details. But one of them was a 14-year-old boy. So that's like, you would think at a 14-year-old boy, you would be able to be strong enough. And so it was kind of strange. But then I found something even more strange. An 11-year-old boy died after contracting a rare infection caused by amoeba found in Florida fresh water. And that amoeba is a microscopic organism that would crawl. Well, it's not going to really crawl. It's a cell. Okay, Rosa's laughing right now. We're not laughing.
This is not funny.
It's not. We're not laughing at the.
I'm laughing at your description of amoebas.
Okay.
This is what I'm doing.
Sorry. We're not laughing because this poor little 11-year-old boy died. But exactly. It was a brain-eating amoeba that he contracted.
But you said freshwater.
Yeah, this is freshwater. It's from the lake.
Oh, lake is freshwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's green. It doesn't look real fresh.
So this amoeba...
So he swallowed lake water?
No. See, you can only get it in a very specific way. And this is why not everyone who was there got it. But this amoeba was present in Bay Lake, and that water was being pumped into the park. And in order for you to get it, it actually has to go up your nose, and then it penetrates the mucous membrane. It gets into your brain, and then it starts literally consuming your brain. And because it's a tiny little amoeba, the consumption of your brain isn't going to be what kills you. What happens is your body is trying to fight it, and then your brain starts swelling, and your body's reaction to that infection is what causes your death.
That's horrible.
It is awful. And
but is that Disney's fault?
Well, that's the thing. Because There were other children who also died of this infection swimming at Bay Lake.
Oh.
They couldn't really blame Disney necessarily because you can't prove exactly where you got that amoeba, but it was like fact that this amoeba is present here at this water park. And when you're going down slides and plunging into
water's going
there's
way
a
up your nose.
Pretty good chance that water can get up your nose.
Mm-hmm.
So it's horrifying. I mean, Florida is already scary enough. Like, they straight up have dinosaurs roaming the streets in Florida.
Wait, what?
Alligators.
Oh, yeah.
And snakes and giant mosquitoes with all kinds of crazy diseases.
I've never been to Florida.
I've never been to Florida either.
I hear a lot of crazy stories about Florida.
Yeah, I sure do. And I feel like there's just a lot of things that can kill you there.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and then, so to tell you a little bit more about this amoeba. When you contract it, you could possibly die, like, within a matter of days. Like, time is of the essence.
How do you even get rid of it?
I'll get to that. That's actually my ripple.
Oh.
So for the longest time, there really wasn't much of anything that you could do. You pretty much had a death sentence, and it was like a 98% chance that you're just gonna die, and there's nothing that they could really do. And that would happen, like, relatively quickly, like, within a matter of days. And you would experience, like, horrible headaches and nausea, and you might start throwing up. And if you go to the hospital, it takes time to actually diagnose you.
Right, what's wrong with you?
And by then, they could possibly try to treat you, but there really wasn't a treatment for it. And you were pretty much amoeba food.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do we have that around here?
I don't think so. I think it's like Florida, Texas. It's in the Carolinas, like that.
This is going to be on my, like, things that freak me out at night.
Yeah. I started getting headaches reading about this. I'm like, I think I have an amoeba.
From my computer.
All right. So, yeah, there was some speculation going around the internet that that was the reason why this resort or this theme park closed. But like you pointed out, there really wasn't a way to blame Disney for this death. So most likely it was just the park was too small, and 9/11, of course, influenced the economy, and that's probably why they shut it down. But the thing is, it's still there, and that's and nature's kind of like taken over. So it is if you go online, type in like River Country Disney on YouTube, you will see these crazy explorations of people trespassing because Disney still owns the land, and it straight up looks like a haunting. It is so crazy. And there's gators and snakes and other kinds of things there. So it's also,
I was gonna say, I want to go there.
No, yeah, you've got to look up the pictures. Yeah, I don't want to go to Florida, sorry. But it's just,
sorry Florida people.
Sorry, Florida. But yeah, there's just like vines climbing all over the slides.
Sounds amazing,
it's really,
like
really
Jurassic
cool
Park-y.
looking. And it's like the scene of a horror movie. It's just very, very spooky. And it actually, there's a lot of creepypastas written about it. And it's really cool. You've got to check it out. But Disney announced fairly recently, I put the date down here. Oh, in 2018. They actually didn't announce it. But people figured out that Disney had filed permits for a new mystery development labeled Project 89 to be built on the property near Bay Lake, where River Country once or still stands. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so people are speculating that they're going to build a new resort there. I don't know if I would want to go to it. I mean, I'm sure there's still brain-eating amoebas around. But
I don't know. I mean, I've never been, and there's the whole like Disney World, like which has like the Wild Kingdom and Epcot and
I don't know how close this is to that area, but it might be something. I don't know Florida geography, but it might be a place like where you stay there and you go over and visit Disney World. There's speculation that this is going to be kind of a very wildernessy type theme resort.
Well, yeah, if it's like Jungle Land right now.
Well, they could clear that. Well. But, yeah, it does look very, very jungly. Another fun fact is that people have been caught trespassing. Mm-hmm. There's still, like, security and stuff out. And there's actually rumors that every night, like, the lights and the music still comes on.
No.
And I couldn't confirm
way.
that, but that just makes it sound extra haunted. But if you are caught trespassing, you receive a lifetime ban to all Disney theme parks.
Sad.
Yeah.
I would not do that.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. A very severe punishment there. Excuse me. So that's what I have to say about River Country. The amoeba, the medication and medical advancements for this brain-eating amoeba have fairly recently changed. And that is my ripple for this story.
Okay.
So, there is an anti-cancer medication that was originally developed to treat and fight breast cancer. And it is called, and I tried to write this out phonetically, but I'll still probably mess it up. But it's meltofosine. Meltofosine.
Sounds good to me.
I'm going to spell it really quick. So it's Miltefosine. Meltofosine.
Okay.
I practiced and everything, and I still don't think I got it right.
Those are the exact words I said the last time. Yep.
And it's sold under the trade name Impovado. And this medication has been found to have anti-parasitic qualities. So if you are given this medication within a relatively quick time of being diagnosed with having this brain-eating amoeba, they're actually finding success with it. And originally, I want to say, and I didn't write it down, or I actually originally did, but those notes are gone. It was like 98% chance of being, being fatal.
Oh.
And now with this treatment, I believe, and this is, my news might not be the most recent. There was like 5 people who were treated with this medication and survived. That's big. That's
I'm
really
impressive. Wow.
Yeah, you are. You're just like, whoa, that's crazy. People
Okay,
actually survived.
So if there was a 98% death sentence and with this medication, 5 people that were given it survived, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
a lot.
Yeah.
Hospitals right now, since it's a new kind of researched medication that's not being used for its original intention, a lot of hospitals don't keep this on hand.
Well, probably don't have to use it very often.
So what the manufacturer is doing, which I thought was kind of interesting, is that they're letting hospitals keep it on consignment. So one of the manufacturers, like during the interview, was saying that, hey, we're going to have this in a warehouse and it's going to go bad, or we could just store it at the hospitals itself.
And if they use it,
and if they use it, great. If they don't, it's not a huge loss.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So,
that's very nice.
It's again, those are kind of how I knew which states have this amoeba.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So the Carolinas, maybe Alabama, I don't know, that area, Florida, Texas area. So now, I am not necessarily terrified of going to Disney theme parks, but I am terrified of getting any sort of water up my nose ever. Oh, neti pots were another way people were getting it.
Oh, I've never used one of those.
I have, but I always use, you buy a special water, and then I think you, boil it, and then you put this treatment. You don't straight up take tap water and shove it down your nose.
I know someone that got a worm in their brain.
From eating pork?
Yes.
I knew that because I watch House.
But I knew this person that had a worm in their brain.
I've been terrified to eat pork ever since I watched that episode of House.
I haven't eaten pork since 7th grade.
Well, who did you know and what happened?
A guy that worked with Nick.
What happened to him?
He ate pork.
Well, what happened to his brain when he had a worm in it?
I don't know.
How did he know he had a worm in his brain?
Because he kept seeing things in his eyes.
Did he see devils pop up on his Uber app?
That was episode 14. No, I don't really know too much about it. I don't know what. I think he just had to take a bunch of medication to kill it.
Some anti-parasite things.
Mm-hmm. But how that they discovered that's what it was and how long it had been in there, I don't know.
That's super creepy.
Yeah. You want to go to Disneyland now?
Not really. Maybe. I don't know. It's super expensive,
The
isn't
Little Mermaid ride is so great.
I didn't even know there was a Little
It's
Mermaid
in California Adventure. It's like so good.
ride. Okay, so if you go to Disneyland now, how much is the ticket?
For SoCal residents, it's a little bit less.
A little bit less than what?
Well, they just raised parking to,
Of course they did.
I think, 25.
That's actually less than I thought it would be.
It was 20. I don't know how much it costs to get in, honestly. I know that if you go, like, for our season pass, if you go, like, 3 times, it pretty much pays for itself.
Yeah, I haven't been 3 times in the last all of my life.
It's really fun.
I'm sure it is, but there's so many people, and I just don't do well with a lot of people.
I love it.
Start getting real irritated.
I love it.
And now, you have to buy a separate ticket to go to California Adventure, right?
Right. Have you ever been there?
I did, yeah,
Yeah.
like shortly after it opened, which I think was,
Oh, yeah, Soaring Over California.
yeah,
It's like my favorite ride, but it's not Soaring Over California anymore.
it's just soaring now.
Yeah, it's because it's like over the U.S.
Oh,
Not as cool. Soaring Over California was way better.
I mean, it was fun, but lines, crowds,
Money.
yeah.
It's very expensive.
I think I'll just watch Little Mermaid on Disney Plus.
Okay, that's your homework this week.
Okay.
Is to rewatch The Little Mermaid.
I can't make any promises. I feel like, I mean, it's just going to be a letdown after your reenactment.
If you really want me to sing it again, I will.
Okay, you go ahead and start singing, and I'm going to grab our basket for next week's topic. Do I pick or do you pick?
I picked last. You can pick.
Okay. You're not singing.
Under the sea. Under the sea.
And dancing, too.
Okay. I cannot dance.
Ooh.
What is it?
Online romances.
Oh. Cool. I like it. Online romances.
All right.
Okay. Until next week.
Wait.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
Normally I say
Oh.
Okay, so we're switching roles. Be a fountain.
Not a drain.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for being here, Adam.
You're welcome.